Good to see fans back in Alumni Arena. Of course, we didn't see any of that last year. Oh, it's good to see a lot of the familiar faces that are longtime UB women's basketball fans that we've had a chance to say hello to. It's good to feel normal again. College basketball is here, and it's Summer Hemphill that wins the opening toss and gives Buffalo their first possession of the season.
Daemen person-to-person defense here to start on the opening possession.
And this is Deasia Fair, one of the most dynamic players in the country. She can score from anywhere and any way, and that little floater, just one of those examples.
Tierra Filbert for Daemen had the assignment of guarding Fair on that opening possession. If that's going to be the matchup, she's going to have her hands full. As you said, Fair lethal off the dribble.
And a turnover and a takeaway by Buffalo. Cheyenne McEvans will pull up from 18 feet, rims it out. Rebound corralled by Alana Page of Daemen. Thought about the three from Katie Titus. Little contact, should get it in low. They'll kick it out for a three on the other side. That is long for Caitlin Matz. And the Bulls pushing as they like to do with point guard Jasmine Young.
Young, a real floor general, usually known for making smart decisions.
And that shot a little bit wide of the rim, but an offensive board for Adieye and a reset into the hands of McEvans. Here's Summer Hemphill. We'll talk a lot about her as the day goes on. And there's a typical example of what Summer Hemphill can do, which is hustle to follow up her own shot.
Yeah, just a little short-armed on that shot, but she knew it right when she let go of it.
Just outside the arc for Summer Hemphill, it's no good. Just 7 games last year after missing the entire season before that. It's been a knee injury that has plagued her over those 2 years, but she is healthy and she is back and she is ready to go. And the combination of Hemphill and Fair is what has Felicia Leggett-Jack really, really excited.
Yeah, in basketball, obviously 5 players on the floor. When you have a star, that can help you go a long way. But when you have 2 players of that caliber, then not only is it better for you in terms of your offense, but what does the other team have to do in terms of trying to prevent the damage to be as minimal as possible? And that's going to be the task for Buffalo opponents this year, is you might be able to say, look, we're going to take Fair away. Well, then how do you take Hemphill away? And back and forth it could go all day. You're trying to chase a rabbit here while they're going to the hoop right by you.
Exchanging turnovers on both ends, Alana Page, and then there's another turnover, and that's back into the hands of Summer Hemphill. It's a little bit ragged. That's out of bounds. It will go to Daemen. A little ragged, as you might expect for November 4th and the exhibition opener. Jennifer Banker is in her 6th year as the head coach at Daemen with an overall record of 78-50. She has helped shepherd this program into the Division II ranks and taken it last year all the way to the Elite Eight. A little close to the sideline there for Buffalo, and that's a turnover for the Bulls.
You mentioned these two teams don't meet that often, but this year meeting for the 6th time all time. Daemen has won 1 of the 5 previous meetings so far. That was when they played at Daemen, but they have not won here at Alumni Arena.
There's Felicia Leggett-Jack in her 10th season as the Buffalo head coach, a school record 177 victories. It's her 20th overall season as a college basketball head coach, over 300 career wins.
Every time you get a chance to talk with Coach Jack, you walk away, Paul. A great play underneath.
And that's the first flex of the year for Adebola Adieye, battling on the boards, and that flex from Addy, first time in a year that it's been pain-free, and that's a good sign for the Bulls.
A good scoop up on the rebound there after McEvans was just short on the layup attempt, and now a chance for a 3-point play. But going back to conversation, you talk with Felicia and just you walk away thinking, God, she has just got her act together. She has these young women in the right spot. What a great role model. She's obviously had so much success on the court, but you hear some of the stories of what she does off the court too, and it's just as impressive, if not more.
And I feel like every time I have a conversation with Felicia, I want to go out and run wind sprints.
She is inspiring, for sure.
She certainly is. Good pass down low into the hands of Katie Titus, but it's going to be another turnover for Daemen. That is 5 turnovers already for the Wildcats.
That's just a lot of ball pressure right now by Buffalo. That's causing the Daemen turnovers.
Substitutions, Lauren Christie wearing number 1 into the ball game. She's a junior from England, is Lauren Christie. Jasmine Young putting on a good dribble display, a little short on the fallback jumper into the hands of Titus for the rebound. Page tried to go right into the lane, had it knocked away. It will stay with Daemen.
And obviously getting that first bucket here, they can maybe breathe a little. The offense, as you said, it's got to just settle in a little more here. Somebody's got to step up, make a bucket. It's very early, but you know the anxiety is going here with every miss.
And off the screen, there's your first bucket, and it belongs to Caitlin Matz.
A real nice shot in rhythm, caught it. Delivers the first points for Daemen today.
Sophomore from Johnsburg, Illinois, Caitlin Matz, first year as a starter for Daemen. Kick it to the far corner. That's Deasia Fair, long on the 3, but the length of Lauren Christie able to corral the rebound. Lots of contact there between Page and Young.
Nothing really, though, to impede what she was looking to do. Good no call, I think.
Shot clock at 5. Hanging and almost hitting was Fair, but it's Christie with the putback.
Well, we've seen Christie now 2 or 3 times already keep possessions alive, a second time, a third time there, able to scoop up the missed rebound and put it home.
And again, what this game for Daemen, as you said, is a good opportunity for them to sort of readjust their rotations, as Michaela Ivey puts it in, because, as you mentioned, Brian, they've got to replace one of their great players, and that's Caroline White, who averaged 15 points and 8 rebounds a game last year. So somebody's got to figure out where those points are coming from. Buffalo getting their points from Jasmine Young.
Yeah, Young wide open in the corner. Got to have a little better defense there if you're Daemen. Just close out, at least get a hand up. She had a real clean look.
And another 3 will fall on the other end from Katie Titus. Just under 15 points a game last year and getting close to 1,000 career points for her in her outstanding Daemen career at the school. So it's going to be a big year for Katie, the senior from Penfield outside of Rochester.
Well, inside to Christie again. That seems to be working really well. And Daemen at this moment, Paul, doesn't look like they've got anybody on the floor that can really stack up with her inside. Her athleticism and her height, like, that's a tough go to try to defend that.
And there's an example, a little bit of the disparity between a Division I program and a Division II program. Buffalo looking good early on. Christie off the bench with some key points as the Bulls hold a 14-8 first quarter lead. Picturesque University at Buffalo North campus looking across Lake LaSalle. A cool spot, isn't it? It's always a cool spot here. Normally there's ice and snow when we're doing these basketball games, but we seem to be in our delayed winter around here, so it continues to be nice and picturesque.
Extends my golf season a few more weeks, Paul.
There you go. I see where the priorities are for Mr. Koziel. Fair drives the lane, had it knocked away. It will stay with the Bulls. 12-8 is our score. After they sorted out a little scoring situation there in the timeout. Last 2 buckets have come from Buffalo's Lauren Christie, and there's Summer Hemphill on the board for the first time this season. The senior from O'Hara High School and the native of Buffalo in her 6th year with the Bulls, and it's just good to see her starting to look like the Summer Hemphill we have come to see, who is on the brink of 1,000 career points and rebounds.
I'm sure everybody involved with this women's basketball program is so excited that she's decided to make this 6th season work out here. Obviously, it'd be very easy, Paul, to just get frustrated and just say, you know what, all these injury problems that I've had for years, like, she's decided to work hard, get back, and obviously, as we mentioned during our pregame, like, what an addition it's going to be here to have her out there with the rest of these returning Bulls.
Georgia Woolley in the game, one of the exciting freshmen for Buffalo on her drive to the basket. Couldn't get it to go. She's someone we'll talk a little more about as well. They're very high on the native of Australia. Speaking of newcomers, that was Sydney Wiesjock who drove and dished. Layup no good, rebounded to Christie. Here's the Bulls on the break. Back pass from Fair. Woolley thought about the three. Fair will think about it and hit it.
Well, that's twice now that the Bulls have had real wide open looks from three-point land. We saw it on the previous possession from Young, and now Fair wide open. Wastes no time. Perfect stroke right in.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Deasia Fair might even become a more impactful player this year, having Summer Hemphill there to balance her out, as you already alluded to a little earlier.
Yeah, how the two of them work together I think is going to be very interesting as we see a great take there. Again, Lauren Christie's off to a great start today.
A lot of confidence. You can just see it. She was banged up for a good part of last year. Played in only 15 games, averaged 3, but Christie, in her third year now from coming over in England, looks like a much different player. Summer Hemphill with the rebound. The dynamic between the two of them, Hemphill and Fair, as you mentioned, two first-team All-MAC level players, two star players in their own right, the ability to do exactly that. How a defense is going to figure out where they want to put their assets towards is going to be the chess match that Buffalo will hopefully try to take advantage of all season.
So that last possession, you saw it right there. I mean, guarding person-to-person defense, that's very, very tough to defend. They're in tight spaces. There's got to be really good communication. If you back off of one, well, then it opens up the other. And if you're saying, well, let's just play zone against them. Well, let's not let them penetrate. Well, they both can shoot so well, too. And UB has other great shooters outside. We've seen a couple already here. So it's kind of like, which one do you want to gamble with?
Quick hands by the freshman Georgia Woolley with the steal. And the nice thing about both Hemphill and Fair is they have different layers to their game. Summer might not be the outside shooter that Deasia Fair is, but she has developed a better outside shot and taken some three-pointers as the years have gone on. So it's not something that you can totally not account for as a defense. And we know that Deasia Fair is as dangerous shooting the three and penetrating equally on both sides, which is why, of course, she was 6th in the country in scoring last year at 24 points a game.
It's the trend now. We're seeing a lot, even in the pro game. Being able to do more than you're not just truly a center or a guard or point. Like, you've got to be able to shoot. You've got to be able to take it to the hoop. You've got to be able to do a little bit of everything. And I think Hemphill has that all-around game that'll be on display this year here, too. You just, as a team, if you have players that can not only do a post game, but also come out and shoot, well, then how do you defend it? Again, you got to come out and guard it if you can respect the shot. I mean, it's kind of that old adage of the more you can do, the better you can. And there's more players now that have more tools out on the floor, and I think the Bulls are loaded with some of those players this year.
5-second call on Daemen, and on that play before, you saw Deasia Fair displaying her defense, anticipating a passing lane and knocking the ball out of bounds. And this discussion between you and I has been offensive focused, but on the defensive end, both of them are very versatile players as well. Dominique Camp making her Buffalo debut, number 11, junior from Dayton, Ohio, in the ballgame for the first time, and that will be a turnover for her.
Rare Bulls turnover here so far, just the third.
Bulls shooting just a shade under 50%, which is why they hold the 13-point lead. Aggressive drive to the hoop for Tiara Filbert. It gets knocked away. Here comes Buffalo. Fair sees an opening, accelerates, bounces, falls back short. Camp with the rebound, put back, rolls off. And that's going to be an over-the-back foul on Adebola Adieye.
Yeah, just a little too aggressive there. Coming down right on Marina Merkel. And that's the obvious call there.
First foul of the game on the Bulls.
The officials so far for the first game, I think, are letting them play, and I'm okay with that. I don't think anybody wants to see an over-officiated game.
Robert McDowell, Mark Resch, Maggie Daemen are our officials here today. Sporting a new look as well, if you hadn't noticed.
Got some pinstripes.
Yes. Little steal on the attempted pass to Merkel in the paint. Fair pulls up and beats the quarter clock. D'Asia Fair already in mid-season form with clutch baskets. First 10 minutes of the exhibition season for 2021 already are done. It's a 15-point Buffalo lead. Well, when you need emergency treatment, a hospital's waiting room is the last place you want to be. Millard Fillmore Suburban Hospital offers online registration and video visits for non-life-threatening conditions. Visit kaleidahealth.org/video visits. Start of the second quarter of our exhibition opener between Buffalo and Daemen. I'm Paul Peck with Brian Koziel, and welcome into UB's Alumni Arena, and it just feels great to have this place feel normal again, Brian.
The band being in here makes it sound great. Fans cheering. It is exactly what basketball is all about. So what a good atmosphere here in Alumni Arena, and a part of two games that we have here today. The men will play a little bit later.
It'll be the men taking on Madai in their exhibition opener. Good defensive right there by Dominique Camp. Buffalo looking good here, looking like a team that has been picked to finish third in the MAC's regular season and to win the MAC tournament in the preseason poll that was released today. So obviously the people around the league understand that this is a very good team with a lot of talent and the potential to do a lot of great things. That is a very talented move to the hoop by Michaela Ivey.
Really nice touch off the glass. She was guarded well. She had to have some really good touch. Really soft up high off the glass there.
A chance to run the point for Dominique Camp, transfer from Troy University in Alabama. Getting her first opportunity to play, and that's going to be a foul called on Daemen. It'll be the second of the game on Alana Page. So you've got three players off the bench in Camp, Christie, and Willie, joined by starters Adiyeye and McEvans. That's Christie. Short on the three, offensive board. Adiyeye rolls it in.
The size matchup that we've mentioned here on display there again. Adiyeye now with 5 in this game.
Pull-up jumper is no good by Page, rebounded by the combination of Woolley and Christie. Here's Adebola Adiyeye, top of the key. Christie hangs, and charge going to be the call on Lauren Christie.
Nice job there, Katie Titus. Watch her here. Give up her body. Yep, straight up. Good call.
Yeah, you kind of sensed that Christie was going to go to the rack there. There wasn't going to be any doubt about that. That's what allows a good defensive player like Titus to plant herself there for that charge.
It looked like, too, as Christie went to the hoop, kind of put the knee out a little more. And that makes the contact a little more obvious.
And you can see Buffalo's aggressive defense here. Most of the time they're going to play the patented Felicia Leggett-Jack matchup zone, but she said she wants to work a little bit today, and they've spent time working in the preseason on their person-to-person defense, and as long as Dominique Camp can keep hitting baskets like that, and get right back on down there and play some more D. First basket as a Bull for Dominique Camp.
She said her 3 keys to the season, and one of them was defense. Culture and discipline, the other 2, but the defense on display here early, forcing quite a few turnovers so far for Daemen.
You know how you have that document on your computer that you update every year? Well, guess what? Felicia's that has her keys to the game always has defense number 1. She never has to change that year to year.
That's right. It makes it easy for the printers there later on.
Yes, it does.
The first one is always staying.
Second foul of the game on Caitlin Matz of Daemen will send Adiyeye to the line.
Just to reiterate UB's defense, Paul, double-digit turnovers now already for Daemen at 10. So it just, and I don't necessarily think a lot of Daemen's decision-making is causing this. I just think it's UB's athleticism and aggressiveness right now that's causing a lot of these.
Three-point play completed by the senior from Brampton, Ontario. I mentioned Adiyeye, pain-free. She had shoulder surgery. Last year, she gutted through it and played and started 19 games, and there were times in games last year where that shoulder would pop out and you would hear her scream in an empty arena, and you felt so bad for her, but she finally had that taken care of in the offseason. She is healthy, and she is a dangerous player. She does well what her niche is, which is hustling on defense and grabbing rebounds.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times, the rebounding, the effort, never a question for her.
And this time, it's going to be a block called on Daemen. And again, those are, a player like Adieye who does 2 or 3 things so well is how you build a team, right? You've got your stars, Fair and Hemphill. You've got, your other players, but you need that player on the low blocks to grab those rebounds and play defense, and that's Adebola Adiye's role here.
And let's face it, it's a long season. You need players that can bring that energy on a game-by-game basis, and Adieye is going to do that. We never have to sit here and think, is she going to be going all out on this possession? The energy is going to be there. That can help the rest of her team. Ball goes out of bounds here. Really kind of keep that energy up and that enthusiasm that Coach Jack is looking for.
That will be possession to Buffalo off the miss. Deasia Fair, who can run the point and oftentimes does, although the plan this year is not necessarily for that to be the case. But when she needs to, she can. Camp with the putback off the miss. Another offensive board momentarily for Buffalo, ripped away by Ivy. And nearly stolen away by Camp.
Nice play by Camp there. Daemen had numbers, had that pass, been able to get through to Buckenshots. That likely would have been a 2-on-1 right underneath the hoop scenario and a likely bucket.
A turnaround jumper off the inbound is no good for Michaela Ivy. Nia Jordan, junior transfer, in the ball game for the first time for Buffalo. And that one is going to go against the Bulls.
There you see the contact on the top. It's maybe a little bit too much aggressive. Also here too, the size advantage difference that we've mentioned, at times that can exaggerate maybe what is average contact, but it might look worse to the officials just because of the size differential sometimes. And then sometimes you do get a call that maybe can be something that you just call a hustle play.
And that one's a foul away from the ball. Going to go on the Bulls. Number 10, Autumn Buckenshots into the game. Grad student from Port Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Will inbound. Right off that inbound, the shot no good for Titus, but an offensive board for Daemen. Buckenshots gets it back to Titus. To the cutter, and that's up and in for Michaela Ivy.
Well, Ivy has very nice moves as a player, and that one was on display there. Good at creating space underneath there. Able to get that bucket in.
Summer Hemphill, obviously back in the game, pulls up from 5 feet and hits.
That's a tough shot. You've got all your body momentum going towards the basket, and for able to just stop right there, that little 5-foot shot sometimes is some of the harder ones on the floor when you've got to stop your body.
One of the questions we had a chance to ask Summer Hemphill is, are you the same player that you were before the knee injury 2 years ago? And she said, no, I'm a different but better player. I'm a smarter player. I understand the game better. That comes from having had the chance to watch the game essentially for 2 years and to understand the psychology and sort of all those things that go beyond just the shooting part of the game and the defense part. And I think that's going to be really interesting to watch how she's developed as a player. Steal by Deasia Fair, one-on-one, will draw the foul.
Good aggressive take there from Fair, and now keep an eye on her there. Maybe came up a little limping. Let's see what she's able to do on these free throws. A strong take. I mean, you're drawing the contact there to get the foul. She obviously was hoping to maybe convert and have a three-point play. Here you see, watch. See how she comes down on. Yeah, the right. Ooh, there it is right there. She stepped right on the foot of Michaela Ivy.
Yeah, there you see the hop. Little jolt of pain there probably, but Deja going to stay in the game and shoot her free throws. The junior from Edison Tech High School in Rochester, New York. The numbers have been amazing for Deja Fair, not just year to year, but in a career. She already has 1,239 points. She's already 12th on UB's all-time scoring list. With a typical Deja Fair scoring season, she'll be on at least in the top 3 this year, if not getting awfully close to Courtney Brown, who holds the school career scoring record.
And being a junior, obviously, you don't have to be that strong at math to figure out maybe where it's all going to end up.
That is true. I think in a lot of ways, across all levels of college athletics, career records are going to be blown out because of the extra year that a lot of players are getting. But in this case, if Deja Fair sets the school record in career scoring in 3 seasons, that's unbelievable and amazing no matter what. Timeout on the court here, about halfway through quarter number 2. Exhibition opener, Buffalo and Daemen here on ESPN3. First game of a doubleheader here at UB's Alumni Arena. The men's team will have their exhibition opener against Medaille College. That's coming up later, and if you're not here or you can't be here, we'll have it for you on ESPN3 starting at 7:30. This was supposed to be a doubleheader for the men and the women against Daemen, but some COVID issues for the Daemen's men's team meant a last-minute substitution, so that's why the men will take on Medaille later tonight. Deja Fair had it just trickle off the rim.
And we wish the Daemen men's team all the best. They're on a pause. We hope everybody gets healthy soon and back out on the court as soon as possible.
Tipped out of bounds by Cheyenne McEvans. One of the interesting little subplots of the Daemen men playing here would have been Summer Hemphill's brother is on the Daemen men's roster. That would have been neat for her and neat for all of us to see that.
And the family would have had a good night.
Oh, yeah.
2 games.
But then again, it's a 7-minute ride down.
That's true.
Down Harlem Road to get to see any of the Daemen games. Out of bounds, we'll go to Buffalo.
Well, the turnovers have definitely been, I'm sure, what Coach Banker is going to be talking about at halftime. Like, their task today, Paul, is difficult enough, but they are not protecting the basketball at all. And like that one, again, UB's defense has been excellent. We mentioned maybe the little difference in size, but I mean that's just a bad pass that ends up going out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Banker assumed there was going to be more turnovers than normal that will be just generated by Buffalo's athletic ability, but you don't want to make it any easier on them, and Cheyenne McEvans had it relatively easy on that little pull-up jumper. On the other end, Filbert no good with the jumper, but a rebound again by McEvans. Back pass to Hemphill. Felicia Leggett-Jack calls Cheyenne McEvans the grandmother of this team because she's the ultimate old soul, says Felicia Leggett-Jack. Very mature, which is why she had such an outstanding all-MAC freshman team level season a year ago.
Coach Jack, I don't know, she was shaking her head a little as the ball was being brought up. I don't know if she didn't like the behind-the-back blind pass or not, but definitely she seemed displeased with something there, Paul.
Foul was on Alana Page, third of the game for her for Daemen. Will send Deja Fair back to the free throw line.
Fair tied with 2 others with 8. Excuse me, 1 other with 8. Adeyeye has 8. Fair has 8. Hemphill and Christie with 6, leading the way for Buffalo today. Fair seems to be okay after having that ankle.
I think so.
Yeah. Getting to the hoop quite nicely.
5 times last season, Deja Fair scored 30 points in a game, including twice her career high of 36. That's kickball. And she just from the second Deja Fair stepped into this campus and on this court, you knew she was a star right away. And she has played up to that as well.
The game face always on.
Oh, no question about that. Long 3 is off the mark by Caitlin Matz, but an offensive board by Filbert, and right into the leg of Christie.
Well, the first kick shot clock was at 21, so that's why it stayed. And then when it gets under 20, which it was, after the kick, they reset it back.
Oh, nice little move there by Michaela Ivey to create a little space on her own. She has 8 points to lead the Wildcats. Christie has it knocked away, able to get it back out to McEvans. Georgia Woolley. Fair, going to leave her that open from beyond the arc. Going to do that.
Too much space. You got to get out. Obviously, we've seen she can make it from anywhere. Real impressive shot there.
Floater in the lane is short. Hemphill with the rebound. I think the one interesting thing that Felicia Leggett-Jack said about Deasia Fair as it relates to the dynamic of Summer Hemphill is that Deasia may take less shots, score less points, but make more of an impact. And on the surface, that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I think you understand what she means by that.
Yeah, if you're being more effective, doesn't necessarily always mean it has to be more points. So is she creating more easier baskets for her teammate? Yes, we know she can maybe step back and hit a jump shot anywhere, but if it ends up being a layup somewhere else, a more high percentage shot, due to the fact that she's making better decisions, showing off more of her athleticism, I'm sure that's maybe more of what Coach Jack is talking about.
There's the offensive rebound for Deasia Fair. I mean, there were times last year when she really was the only legitimate offensive threat for the Bulls, and she did everything in her power to get those points. But as Felicia said to us, maybe this year she doesn't have to dribble 8 times to create an opening. The defense will sink in on Summer and kick it out to her for an easy shot, or maybe Cheyenne McEvans gets those easy shots.
Now that time, it was pretty good defense right there. Caitlin Matz was, I thought, right where she needed to be to defend. Sometimes you just got to say, great shot.
Good cut into the lane, and that one goes for Michaela Ivey into double figures.
Ivy's had a real nice second quarter, showing her presence down in the post. A couple of real nice slick moves.
Summer Hemphill for 3.
What a great sound our crowd mic picked up there. You hear the swoosh right where that perfect shot.
Boy, if Summer Hemphill can become a legitimate three-point shooter, I don't know what you're supposed to do defensively. Because there's not a lot of players in the MAC that are going to be guarding Summer that can get out on her out there. And Hemphill rips down rebound number 6.
Fair looking to get some instructions from coach on the side, and now organize things here as they wait for the last shot.
Clock ticking down on the first half. Deasia will take it and hit it. Well, if that's not the best indication of what this season might be, based on an exhibition game on November 4th, I don't know what is. The score, pretty good one too. Buffalo in control, a great first half for the Bulls. They lead Daemen 50-16 back to Alumni Arena for halftime in a moment.
And you'd sign up for that all year long if you're Coach Jack.
And the game inside the game is the 25 combined points from Deasia Fair and Summer Hemphill in the first half, and you know, somewhere in that 40 to 50 range is where the Bulls are going to want those two to be combined on a given night.
Yeah, that 1-2 punch we mentioned, it's going to carry the Bulls a long way here. They're off to a really good start. Half of their team's points, just the two of them, 25 of the 50.
Going to be a foul on Deasia Fair, her first, to get things started here in quarter number 3. Of the 16 points, 10 of them for Daemen have come from senior Michaela Ivey. They've struggled to find anyone else to consistently score. There's a backside steal from Deasia Fair, 17-footer short, and a good rebound ripped down by Tiara Filbert. Filbert kind of limited minutes here. She comes back from an injury last year that limited her to only 8 games. They're taking it easy with one of their key players.
Yeah, Filbert has been hurt really since February, but she can shoot, she can go to the rim. They'll be monitoring the minutes here today, but they're expecting big things out of Filbert this year.
And there's a corner jumper that falls for Buffalo's Jasmine Young. That's the 3.
Young 2 for 2 from downtown tonight so far.
Nice pass off the pick and roll, and that's going to count. And one for Katie Titus.
Been impressed with Titus down low. She obviously has been facing some real tough competition, and I think she's not backing down. She might not have the height advantage at times, but she's gone strong to the hoop. Titus can also seen her make a 3.5. That versatile player that we're talking about. That's what makes a good team. You have as many players as possible that can do multiple things. Titus is going to have a strong year this year for Daemen.
She'll set up shop in her own office down low on the blocks and completes the three-point play. And at least a good start here in the second half, third quarter for the Daemen Wildcats. Fair steps back, short. Remember, the three-pointer is a little farther back this year than it was last year. Not that had anything to do with that shot, but just something a little different in women's college basketball. Fair tracks down the rebound, leads the break. Kicks to the corner, baseline jumper. Summer Hemphill rolls it in. Double figures for Summer.
Well, based upon, Paul, my travels around watching high school basketball gyms, it doesn't matter how far you put it back. That's all kids want to shoot these days, is threes. They're going to just keep practicing and practicing. They're as good as ever at making threes.
Speaking of high school gyms, apparently you've had a few matchups with Jennifer Banker in your coaching past.
Yeah, somewhat indirectly. When I was at Sweet Home coaching the junior varsity girls team, she was the varsity coach at Grand Island, and I was on the bench for the varsity games helping out. I'll give a little plug to Matt LaRoche, our old varsity coach here. We worked together trying to put together a strategy to beat her great Grand Island teams that were so good for so long.
So you don't want me to ask what your career record matching up with Coach Banker is then?
No, we'll leave that for the imagination.
Gotcha.
I'll just say it this: she's ahead in the game. Let's just say that.
I gotcha. Rebound would not fall for Deasia Fair, but we get a foul called. That's going to be the fourth of the game on Alana Page of Daemen. Yeah, Jennifer Banker, the head coach of the Wildcats, a long-time member of a prominent Western New York high school athletics family, and a long-time teacher and coach at Grand Island High School, and of course now doing what she's doing at Daemen with her daughter as one of her assistant coaches. One more coming for Deasia Fair. First team preseason All-Mid-American Conference. That announced today as well. Not a surprise. First team All-MAC a year ago when she was second in the league in scoring.
Named to the Nancy Lieberman Award watch list as one of the top 20 point guards in all of D1.
Yeah, and I think interestingly she'll play less point guard this year. Because of the way things have been situated for Felicia Leggett-Jack. Defensively, she is always one of the top stealers in the MAC, and you saw one right there. Tried to loop it into Christie, and it bounced away, and here come the Wildcats on the break, and nearly another steal, and it will be. Great hustle by Summer Hemphill.
Diving into the stands. A couple of collisions on that end. Results in the Bulls the other way.
Fair, short front rim on that jumper. Just the fact that Summer Hemphill feels confident enough in her knee to go flying after a loose ball like that tells you an awful lot about where her mindset is at, which is a great place right now. Long on the three is Michaela Ivey, but the putback won't go. Another chance and a block by Hemphill. What a sequence of a couple of minutes here for Summer Hemphill. Sixth in UB's school history all-time in blocked shots, with a chance to move up on that list as well.
Caitlin Matz twice looked like maybe she was going to have an easy bucket. First one couldn't convert, and then the second one, Hemphill able to adjust in time.
Shot clock under 10. Corner three, that will fall for Caitlin Matz. Looking for a big year for her are the Daemen Wildcats. More of a bench player last year and only scored a couple points per game, but she's going to have a much bigger role in this year's team, and if she can shoot the threes like that, she'll keep that big role. Speaking of shooting, Summer Hemphill's doing a little bit of it all just in the last 3 minutes.
That shot right there, Paul, is one that is underutilized by all teams. It's the step or two just inside the three-point arc. I mentioned how it seems like everybody wants to practice threes. Of course, the analytics would say keep shooting threes if you can make them. That foot or two inside are the shots that nobody really practices anymore. But
there are
you
some
can make
coaches that don't want their players shooting that because of the percentages. Why would you shoot that shot when you could take a step back at a three where the value is equal to the lesser percentage?
Yes.
And Nate Oates, when he was the basketball men's coach here at UB, used to talk about that a lot. It's either a layup or a three sometimes.
Yeah, and if the shooting percentage 1 foot closer is essentially the same, then why wouldn't you take the step back?
But I'm with you. There's a place for the mid-range jumper in college basketball, and if you're good at it, particularly a big like Summer Hemphill, who mostly teams are worried about her scoring within 5 or 8, 10 feet of the basket, if you can pop out to 12 and be just as good, again, the people matching up to you are going to have trouble staying with you.
It's that versatility that we've been mentioning all game with both teams.
Quick hands by Fair. She tipped it away, but right back into the hands of Wiesjock, trying to get it down low and could not connect.
That turnover is just all Fair. Her pressure up on the ball. Wiesjock just had to get rid of it as Fair was closing in on her and made an errant pass for another Daemen turnover.
This is Dominique Camp back in the ball game for Buffalo. It opened up for her. She bounced past it to the left, a little short on the jumper for Christie. It will stay with the Bulls. And before that, we're going to get a timeout. Buffalo in control of their exhibition opener against Daemen from here at Alumni Arena. Back in a moment. Well, the stat line so far tonight for Deasia Fair, typical of what she normally does, but indicative of the impact that she makes. 17 points, 3 of 8 shooting from 3, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. That's one of the reasons why she's received that honor.
Yeah, we've seen it all on display here today. The complete real effort. She's shot really well from outside. She's taken it to the rack really well. We've seen, obviously, her defensive skills on display, too, causing turnovers. The accolades are going to continue the more and more she plays.
And she just makes such an impact in all of those parts of the game, every game. From the minute she walked in the door here, that impact was felt by everyone and seen by everyone here. And again, as you've seen her get better and understand the game better and meld that smarts with her talent, and now you add in the complementary pieces around her, only more amazing things can happen. Steal by Camp, feeds for Hemphill, layup good.
Real easy finish there from Hemphill, rewarding her for running the floor. Another Daemen turnover to another Buffalo basket.
Felicia Leggett-Jack just seems to find those guards that can play defense. And then again, she never looks for any of them that don't play defense.
Right.
Little hook shot there, way out from Michaela Ivey. And here comes Camp, the junior from Dayton, Ohio. Felicia calls Dominique Camp a real gamer on this team. Short on the jumper for Georgia Woolley. And Woolley putting the pressure on to maybe match up for that shot that didn't go. Nice move into the lane by Alina Estrella, but it gets knocked away, and here comes Camp. She's got McEvans under the basket. She'll shoot and hit.
There's the mid-range jumper we were talking about on display. Good rhythm, come down, jump stop, nice shot.
Camp played at Troy 17 games last year, shot 35% from beyond the arc, something Bulls are always looking for more good three-point shooters. Helped, was a part of Troy's NCAA team. Nice lead pass, Christie ahead of the field for 2.
Now Christie had a very, very strong first quarter, got off to a great start. Now back in here in the game in the third quarter, adding to her totals.
Nice little pull-up jumper there by Autumn Buxenschuts. First 2 of the game for her.
It's a great basketball last name.
It's a great last name anyway, but yes. We thought it might have been Shoots, which makes it just a slightly better last name, but it's Schutz, but maybe for the rest of the night, can we call her Shoots?
That's
Bucks and Shoots?
It works so well. Hey, you want to be money when you're shooting. You got bucks, right?
I love it. A little collision under the basket. We're going to get a foul. It's going to be a charge called on the Bulls. And McEvans kind of lost it briefly. That might have thrown her timing off a bit.
Yeah, there you see the contact underneath. Just before the arc there. Right by the MAC logo. Here on the floor at Alumni Arena. But just too much there. It's tough to control your body when you're going at that speed. That's just good defense.
Yep. Filbert under the basket, kicks it. Three-point attempt. No good for Katie Titus. Tough night for Katie Titus. Only 6 points for her on 2 of 7 shooting. A little over 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's been a good season debut for the Buffalo Bulls. Look at McEvans crash in for the board.
It's a real nice athletic play. She timed that ball perfectly of when that ball would be up at its highest point, went up and grabbed it, and then a smooth transition to make the layup.
Three-pointer was no good for Matz. Bulls on the move again. Woolley kicks it. Camp shoots it. No good. Rebound ripped down by Marina Merkel. And stolen away by Woolley. 2-on-2. Woolley, Euro step, can't get it to go.
I was going to say,
is an Aussie allowed to have a Euro step?
I think that's all right.
Okay.
That's right. I think you described it well. A 2-on-2 coming down. The passing lane to try to see if she could get it to Camp just wasn't there. So going to the hoop, I think, was the right decision. Trying to go with a little scoop underneath. Just missed, but heading to the line.
Cool story for the freshman from Brisbane, Australia. Discovered by former Bulls standout Stephanie Reed, who played against her in an Australian club league, and said, this girl's a problem. Yeah. Felicia, you might want to take a look at her. They did. They liked what they saw. They initiated the contact. There's a great history of Aussie players here, from the Up sisters to Courtney Wilkins, of course, to Stephanie Reed. Georgia Woolley said, I want to be here. She averaged over 40 points a game in her high school equivalent days in Australia.
Good take to the basket there. Yeah, when you've got that connection, we mentioned the Rochester connection earlier, Paul, how able to not only form good relationships and bonds, but able to maybe pass the torch from one to the next. And when you've got players in Australia that are saying, hey, this is somebody that could be a real benefit to your program. I mean, Stephanie Reed, we know her meaning and her impact and what she did as a player. So if you're causing problems for her, well, you know, then obviously Woolley can bring a great game to the table.
And as you said, Brian, I mean, that's this is, you know, the fact that you develop those players and they go on to be great players, and then they want to give back to your program and call you up and say, hey, there's a player here that you might like to see. And then when that player says, oh, Buffalo's interested in me, then they go, oh, well, these Australians played here, or these Rochesterians played here. It kind of perpetuates itself in a lot of ways.
Well, we mentioned earlier Felicia Leggett-Jack's 3 keys to the season. We said defense is always on top, but another one of those words is culture. And when you have alums doing what they do, whether it's giving back, whether it's doing things in the community, whether it's just talking up how great Coach Jack is, how great this program is, those sort of things do matter, and they'll catch up with you in the good way.
Boy, it was a nice pass by McEvans to a wide-open Christie, but it's going to be an offensive foul on Cheyenne McEvans.
Nice job there by Tierra Filbert. We know coming in today, limiting her minutes, she's still might even not even be 100%. She's given her body here late in the game that on the scoreboard we know is decided, and then some good sportsmanship there too by Lauren Christie to help her right up. Good basketball all around on both sides.
Yeah, outstanding career for Tierra Filbert at Batavia High School. Led them to a pair of Section 5 championships, the first ever in school history. And there you get a little glimpse of why she's such a good player. That's her first basket of the game, Tierra Filbert.
That could have been a charge again.
It
was. Yeah. Say it was close.
The celebration by Marina Merkel gave you the indication of that.
Well, Coach Banker's got to be really happy, I think, with this third quarter. Regardless of what the score ends up being here, the team came out. I think this was their best quarter, responded from whatever she had said at halftime here. They've taken a couple of charges. I think they've overall offensively cleaned up some of their sloppiness from early on. So this is a good sign, I'm sure, for her team. This is a game that can make them better, playing against maybe their best competition of the season right out of the gate.
Yeah. Good inbounds, and it just won't fall for Katie Titus to beat the buzzer, but it was a good quarter. 20-13 was the quarter scoring in favor of Buffalo, but a good quarter for the Wildcats. We head to the final 10 minutes with Buffalo in control. Next up for the Bulls, their regular season official opener against an opponent who will have to spend double the amount of time getting here that Daemen did today, Brian.
Yeah, it's a little longer trip. Maybe instead of 10 minutes, it's 20 minutes. But yes, the Golden Griffins will be here on Tuesday night. And of course, we'll have the game for you as well on ESPN+. But local rivalry here, Canisius and Buffalo. And then the Bulls after that.
You'll step up from there, huh?
Yeah. South Carolina. And they're ranked pretty high, Paul. Number 1.
Yeah, the good thing about it is the game is going to be played at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, so already it's a good trip regardless of how the game goes. But yes, the number 1 ranked South Carolina Gamecocks, that'll come up on November 20th, a big-time test for the Bulls playing in a big-time tournament down there in Atlantis.
We see some new Bulls out here to start the fourth quarter. And
that's Nia Jordan's first basket.
Yeah, but similarities. Daemen may be facing their toughest opponent today. Coach Banker had said they really want to give a tough schedule to challenge this team that has high aspirations. We see some great passing from Daemen here.
Terrific ball movement. Caitlin Matz hits the 3 after great passes to get her the ball.
Yeah, best ball movement possession of the night for Daemen there. But they opened up playing this D1 powerhouse in the Bulls. Coach Banker had said she expects not only for Buffalo to, it wasn't even like, are they going to make the NCAA tournament? She was with the understanding of, they're making it and they're going to make some noise. They're going to go far in the tournament. So that was her presumption right away. But Daemen this year, you mentioned the national ranking. I mean, they play games like this. This is going to make them better. Similarity what UB can do. Coach Jack also not afraid to maybe give themselves a tough challenge. You're going to play the number 1 team in the country in South Carolina and the Gamecocks. You know that's going to make UB better at the end of that night. Regardless of maybe how it ends up on the scoreboard, you're going to face the best team in the country. It's going to make you better. You can't simulate that in practice.
No, preseason number 20 in the Division II coaches poll are the Wildcats, number 8 in the Division II SID. The SID is always no better anyway. The SID poll, number 8.
They watch. They know every piece of news and nugget.
Yep. Generally, the coaches ask the SIDs who they should vote for.
Yeah.
There's Georgia Woolley's first basket as a Buffalo Bull. 3-pointer from the corner. So a couple of debut hoops here the last 2 trips down for Jordan and Woolley. Let's see if Titus can keep our 3-point shooting alive. Not that time. And a battle for the rebound. And it's a nice pull down by Ivy, but we get a foul.
Yeah. Titus was wide open underneath, but a whistle blown just before that easy layup for her. Get to see the Woolley 3 here. Watch the kick to the corner. Nice step and look. There it is, her first 3 as a Bull.
5'11" from Brisbane, Australia, but good size for kind of a shooter and a scorer, and that'll be a matchup battle that the Bulls will try to take advantage of. Woolley right in the middle of knocking that one away. It's still loose. Jump ball.
Right there, Daemen, 2-on-1 under the basket. That has to be a layup. Maybe the bounce pass works there better. She tried to pass right through and Bulls defense in the way. Easy to say here as I'm sitting from the side, but maybe that's the best option next time on that. You've got little space to work down there, but sometimes the bounce pass can work a little better.
Yep. So Deasia Fair is still in the ball game, but other than that, we've got Rama Keita, who has just checked into the game, and Jordan is in and camp. So with Woolley, so Fair is the only starter right now as Felicia Leggett-Jack uses this opportunity to get some players some playing time and maybe learn a little bit of what she needs to learn about some of these new players, like Nia Jordan, the junior from Philadelphia.
Said Nia's a really, really hard worker. Join the list of Bulls that she probably could have given that description to.
Yeah. Said she goes about 100 miles an hour at everything, and in some ways, Felicia says we've got to figure out how to slow her down just a little bit sometimes. Previous stops for Nia include Labette Community College and then a season at the University of New Orleans, and previous to that, a city title in Philadelphia at Newman and Goretti, a famed high school down there in Philly.
Well, Daemen, go ahead, Paul.
Just going to say the final quarter of the exhibition opener between Buffalo and Daemen, and if you're a Bulls fan, you've got to like what you've seen, and there's been a number of times here in the second half where if you're a Daemen fan, you like what you see as well.
Yeah, Daemen's had a much stronger, I think, second half here. A pretty good third quarter, and another three from Woolley. And we get a stoppage right after that three. So there's goals here for both coaches here. If you're Buffalo, your Coach Jack, a chance to maybe see some more players as we get one of the players. It's Michaela Ivy walking off.
She got poked in the eye, maybe. That's Ivy on the right. Yeah, kind of got hit across the face there by Nia Jordan reaching up to grab the rebound.
Just an accidental play. Looks like she's okay walking over to the bench, so that's a good sign. But for the Bulls here, get some extra players in, Paul, a chance to see maybe what their season debut looks like. And for Daemen, continue to build on what you're doing there. You've cleaned up the offense much better. Some shots are starting to go down, too, as they obviously want to finish with a good feeling here as they walk out of Alumni Arena tonight.
Merkel with the handoff to Buxton Schutz. Baseline drive for Autumn.
And you try the pick and roll, and there it finally was. In the middle of it, and then we got to travel. In the middle of that, though, is Dieza Fair. What are you going to do? Like, she can cover ground so fast. So it looks open, but smartly the pass isn't made, because guess what? It's probably going to get stolen if you make that pass in between.
You know, and sometimes like a great running back who's a little smaller, you lose Dieza Fair. Where did she go? And all of a sudden you look up and there she is with the basketball. 3 in a row from Georgia Woolley. Way outside from down under is Georgia Woolley.
And Woolley having a great set of shots here.
And you know, not unexpectedly, she seemed to play a little nervous there in that first half, and I think she's settled in, and now you're starting to see the player that I mentioned average 43 points and 19 rebounds a game at her high school equivalent level of play in Australia. Steal by Keita, feed for Camp, layup good.
It's a nice job by Keita, kind of shield the Daemen defender there and allow that easy pass for the layup.
It's a 50-point Buffalo lead with a little over 6 minutes to go in the game. Don't forget, stick around. The men's exhibition opener coming up later tonight here at Alumni Arena, 7:30 tip-off with Madai. Nice basket there by Merkel.
Yeah, Merkel working really hard, pivoting back and forth. And now the defense for Daemen coming through.
Steal by Buxton Schutz. Layup good.
Now a little full court press. See how the Bulls handle this. Fair just going to go through it all, Paul.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure Felicia doesn't mind seeing a little bit of full court press for her team to get ready. Oh, the streak of 3 in a row ends for Georgia Woolley. Jordan gets the offensive board and draws the foul.
Good work underneath there from Jordan. Battling against 2 Daemen players and able to come up with the rebound and go up strong.
Couple substitutions. Summer Hemphill going to check back in. 15 points for Summer Hemphill to go along with 8 rebounds. Jasmine Young going to come back in as well. Free throws here for Jordan. First is good.
What was that number you said earlier before between Hemphill and Fair? I know you were
between 40 and 50. Does that sound right to you? I mean, Dieza Fair is going to average 25. You know, Summer Hemphill in her career has generally been about 14 to 15. So,
and she says she's a different player, but maybe a better player. So the two of them together, if it's high teens for her, mid to high teens average-wise.
So, I mean, if you pick a number and say 43, right, is that, that's a pretty good place to be between two players like that.
And on most nights, that's going to be half your scoring.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch how that develops throughout the non-conference part of the season. Because, again, as we said, they've only played 7 games together, and those 7 games that Summer Hemphill played last year, she was not really Summer Hemphill.
Yeah. Good to see her back going healthy and ready to prep for a season to get a foul inside.
It was kind of funny. I had a chance to talk to Summer earlier in the preseason, and she's been here since 2016. She came here as a 17-year-old, and now she's in her early 20s, and she's a much different person. She's grown up, and life has come at her in a lot of ways, and it's just interesting that part of the fun part of athletics is seeing those young ladies develop as outstanding young women, aside from being basketball players that you watch through their career.
Yeah, think about what's happened since 2016 in her young life.
In all of our lives.
Think about what just happened in the last year for all of us here. That seemed like an eternity.
Yes, it does. That was a nice basket by Addie Yeye on the end. It's double figures for Addie as well. 4 Bulls in double figures in this game as they approach 90 points.
Fair drawing the foul. She was looking to go the distance to the hoop, add to her 17-point total already, and I think we got a timeout.
Yep. We are going to take a timeout. It's a healthy 50-point Buffalo lead. The Bulls have looked good here tonight in their exhibition opener from Alumni Arena. I want you to look at the court because there's something different this year. You might not notice, or you may notice in particular as it relates to the three-point line, there's only 1 this year. Last year there was 2. This year the women have made the change the men made last year to 1 standard international distance of three-pointers. Didn't seem to bother Deasia Fair. About a foot farther than it was before to just over 22 feet where Deasia shot from.
Right on cue. Nice job by Deasia there to show exactly where that new three-point arc is. Yeah, but just over a foot longer, and we're seeing the players, they'll adjust very easily to it. It's something that if you practice it, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but it also, too, creates more space inside. You take another foot out, so we see another 3 attempt here. That gives the inside game a little bit more work. How will teams adjust? Will they just continue to fire up threes? I'm sure some teams will still continue to do that. Will some other teams say, hey, look, we got an extra foot now inside. Maybe we can take advantage of there. I'm sure it kind of depends on the makeup of the team, too, and the personnel. Do they have a strong center? Well, that might be something they can maybe utilize just a tad more here. An extra foot at times can be really helpful, I think, if you're down there, down low, trying to make a post move.
Yeah, on the surface, you might think they moved it out to make the shot harder, and there's probably a little bit of element to that, but it's mostly for what you talked about, to create more space inside the arc. I don't think we saw a significant drop in three-point shooting for the men last year. I would not expect to hear. Matter of fact, Felicia Leggett-Jack told us that in general, players shoot from beyond the longest line anyway, so there were probably roughly half the women's three-pointers last year were shot from beyond the men's distance.
Yeah, just visually those 2 lines, sometimes you're right. You just step behind the farther one and it ends up working out anyway. So, yeah, I think these players are so good. They're such good shooters. I mean, moving that foot back, it's just something that naturally if you're a good shooter, you're going to adjust to that no matter what. You can kind of see it and feel it, and when they practice as much as they do, I think the adjustment will be just fine, but maybe it will create, if you've got some old school fans, Paul, that say, hey, what about getting back to getting it inside the traditional center or the power forward? Like, do we see that as more? And maybe we'll get a little bit more this year.
Timeout with just under 3 minutes left in this one. Buffalo in control. Final stretch here of this exhibition opener for the Buffalo Bulls against the Daemen Wildcats, and we've seen a lot of what we expected to see, and I'm sure from the coaching staff perspective, a lot of what they wanted to see. Shot clock violation there for Daemen. One of the things that Felicia Leggett-Jack told us, Brian, that she wanted to see and that her team has been working on is their conditioning in the preseason.
And she's got them running miles at practice, setting certain times for them too. And listen, no matter how much conditioning you can have, there's still an extra level of exertion during a game. So here for today, you know that you're going to have some tired players, but that shows you work hard too. If you're tired when you're out of the game here, but that's something that the Bulls definitely, they don't want to be outworked, but they don't want to be the more tired team in any way. And I know Felicia Leggett-Jack's going to make sure her team's not in that manner.
Another mid-range jumper canned by Summer Hemphill. 17 points and 8 rebounds for Summer Hemphill. Well, and we've always seen, and she's been able to adapt over the years, that Felicia Leggett-Jack will use a very long bench and sometimes a very short bench, and I think generally she would like to use a lot of players to keep that intensity level going. Nice three there, canned by Sydney Wiesjock, freshman from Little Valley, New York, for Daemen, her first basket.
Well, we didn't see it today in terms of the Bulls changing up their defense. It was pretty much half-court, person-to-person the entire time. But the ability, if you are a well-conditioned team and you are a deep team, it allows you to put on different types of pressure, whether it's a full-court press, whether it's a trapping sort of thing. And I know you mentioned about the matchup zone that she likes to play. Those take energy. That takes a lot of energy to play that. And if you've got the depth and you've got the athleticism, which the Bulls have, I mean, that can only, again, strengthen your cause here towards winning more games.
Steal in the lane by Adebola Adeyeye. Nice game so far here tonight for Addy. 10 points and 2 rebounds.
And for Daemen, too, they know it starts with defense. Coach Banker spending lots of time in practice on the defense with their team. If you're going to say more on offense and more on defense for the Daemen women, they definitely spend more time on D. She knows, too, that's where they're going to win a lot of their games there. There you see a zone look now from Daemen. That's something, that 2-3 look, that they also will play a lot this year.
Shot clock winding down. 3 off the corner by Jasmine Young. Put back no good, but an offensive board for Rama Keita, and she'll draw the foul. That gets the Buffalo bench fired up. Rama Tulai Keita, sophomore from Mali, who played at the same high school outside of Chicago as one of the outstanding former Bulls in recent history, Teresa Onwuka.
There's Keita with great work underneath.
So as we mentioned, the Bulls are picked to finish 3rd in the MAC in the preseason poll that was released today, but they also vote for which team you think is going to win the MAC tournament, and I guess I was a little thrown by the fact that they were picked to finish 3rd in the regular season, but picked to win the tournament by the coaches and the media in the Mid-American Conference. Explain that for me.
Yes, confusing. Here's maybe my best go at it. When the pressure's on and the lights are the strongest, who do we trust? Well, you've got maybe the best guard in the conference in Fair, wearing a Bulls uniform, and a coach that knows how to coach in those situations in Felicia Leggett-Jack. So maybe that's where they're thinking about here as we see another 3 for Buffalo.
Well, Ron, that's Georgia Woolley with her 4th 2016 MAC championship and a trip to the NCAA, 2018 NCAA Sweet 16, 2019 MAC championship, 2nd round of the NCAA. So there is a history of the Bulls knowing how to get it done in Cleveland, which I'm sure is a factor in exactly what you said.
Oh, good backdoor cut there, just missing on the pass.
So it's a terrific start to the season for Buffalo, as you might expect when playing a Division II opponent, particularly when you're thought of that highly in your conference, as we mentioned. But a lot of good things, Brian, happened in this, and I think it starts with Summer Hemphill looking like the Summer Hemphill we've seen before, her fitting in with Deasia Fair, who looks like she continues to get better, and the complementary pieces like a Georgia Woolley.
Yeah, the offense had a lot of outlets today on offense that worked well. Some of those generated from good ball pressure on defense. Daemen